Hey, I'm Dimitri, counselor, coach, speaker, and leadership specialist. And for the past 3 years, I've had the privilege of helping schools, companies, and clients rebuild their culture from nothing to success in 30 days. And this is what I've learned. Culture doesn't fall apart overnight. It's destroyed one action at a time. And in this session, you'll learn how to build a strong culture deliberately using a 3 simple part framework that transforms vague ideas into visible results. And that looks like behaviors, symbols, and systems. We'll unpack each one of them through the video, but I'll give you a practical example, and then you'll walk away with a 30-day roadmap to start building a healthier, higher performing culture wherever you're leading. So let's get into it. There's this quote I love by Jim Codade, and it says, "Culture isn't what you say, it's what you allow." And you can have all the vision statements, mottos, slogans that you can think of, but if you tolerate gossip, inconsistency, or even disrespect, that becomes your culture. And culture doesn't start in the HR department. It starts in how people behave when no one's watching. And that's where leaders either build momentum or tend to lose it. So let's define it clearly. Culture is the shared values and beliefs and attitudes that guide how people behave. It's this invisible current that pulls your organization forward or drags it completely down, right? When leaders talk about changing their culture, what they're really saying is, I want people to behave differently. Well, unfortunately, behavior doesn't change through slogans. It changes through structure. It changes through intentionality, and always starts with the leader. John Maxwell says it best when he said, everything rises and falls on leadership. And leaders' actions and decisions create the environment for their team. Good leadership fosters a culture of success, while bad leadership can lead to internal competition and a decline in performance. And this is what John Maxwell calls the law of the lid, which means a leader's ability acts as sort of this lid that determines the potential ceiling for their followers. A leader with a higher leadership capacity can lead others to a higher level of success than a leader with a lower capacity, right? So think of culture like a building. Behaviors are the bricks, symbols are the walls, and systems are the scaffolding. Each one supports one another, but the leader is the architect. They determine if something makes it into the design or not. So let's look at how leaders can transform their culture by starting off with the foundation, which is behavior. And behavior is the only fixed pillar of culture, which means in every successful business, the behavior of a good culture is the exact same wherever you go. Why? Well, because while your systems and symbols may differ across industries, human behavior follows predictable patterns. There are 3 things you must create to shape this behavior. 1, it's clarity and direction. People need to know what good looks like. Then there's consistency. They need to see those actions reinforced daily. Then the 3rd one is consequences, both positive and corrective. So actions mean something to them, right? It has meaning. So let's make this real. Imagine 2 teachers. One arrives early, greets the students warmly, and starts the day with a good structure and a plan for the day. The other just lazily strolls in late, sighs, and starts complaining before the class even begins. They haven't planned anything and they just begin to wing it, right? Which culture do you want to see and do you prefer? Culture doesn't follow the title. It follows the tone of the people. Whatever behavior is repeated and rewarded becomes the standard throughout the company. So here's the 30-day challenge for changing that behavior. Week 1, you want to define 3 specific behaviors that reflect your ideal culture. Week 2, you want to model them visibly every single day, not one day missed. Week 3, recognize and reward others who showed those values and behaviors. Week 4, address the behavior that breaks them. Do it calmly, but do it consistently. You want people to love the new culture, not hate it or resent it. So when you're correcting people, you need to be gentle when you have to deal with that negative behavior. Do all of that for 1 month and you'll notice something incredible. People start policing the culture themselves. This only works, though, if the leader themselves is modeling and portraying the culture. It doesn't help if the boss says, no shorts at work, but then rocks up to work in shorts. You know what I mean? Anyway, the next pillar is symbols, and this is how you make the culture that you want visible. They're the logos, the mottos, the rituals, the awards, and even the inside jokes that communicate who you are. Every thriving culture has clear symbols that reinforce belonging. If we think about sports teams, the jersey, the chants, the handshakes, it's not about the object itself, it's about the identity and the unity surrounding that sport. In your organization, symbols might be something like a Friday recognition ritual, a wall of wins, a tagline everybody uses and believes in, or even how your office looks and feels. Like Google, who changed their entire environment to ensure that people have fun and feel safe and appreciated. And the psychology behind it is humans are completely visual. We anchor meaning to symbols. When those symbols align with your values, they strengthen your culture. When they don't, they weaken it. For example, if your values wall says respect and teamwork, but your leaders gossip or ignore staff's input completely, the wall becomes symbolic of hypocrisy, right? So your simple task for 30 days is this: audit your environment. Ask what symbols reinforce our culture and which ones contradict it. Then you need to choose one new ritual or visual representation that embodies your core value. Culture is purely emotional, and symbols make emotions visible. After you've done these symbols, the next thing that you need to focus on is your systems. These are the processes and the rhythms that keep culture alive. They tend to translate values into repeatable action. If you say, we value growth, but you don't have a consistent system in place to allow feedback, you don't value growth. If you say, we prioritize well-being of our staff, but your workload destroys the people, the system doesn't support the belief. Systems are how you communicate what matters without saying a word. Some really good examples of cultural systems include things like a weekly leadership meeting, which can provide clarity and accountability, things like feedback loop systems for learning and alignment, onboarding programs for teaching new people culture from the beginning, recognition systems which reinforce the desired behaviors. And we need to remember, a system doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be consistent. So for your 30-day systems plan, we just need to identify one process that frustrates your people or contradicts your values. We need to simplify it, communicate it clearly, then repeat it consistently until it becomes natural. Because systems don't restrict the culture, they protect the culture. If you want more information on who to target when trying to change your culture and how to truly affect it, check out my previous video on the Initiator Circle. The link will be in the description below. So let's recap. If you want to build culture deliberately in 30 days, we need to focus on the 3 pillars: behavior, which sets the standards; symbols, which make it visible; and systems, which make it repeatable. And remember this, culture isn't built by speeches, it's built by the small, consistent actions that people see every single day. You don't need to overhaul your culture overnight. You just need to choose one area, whether it's behavior, symbol, or system, and start building. Because culture doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. And you as the leader are the architect. If you want a simple 30-day worksheet to design your culture plan, you can download it at our website, onlinecounsellor.co.za, or click the link in the description below. I'm Dimitri Stathoulis, and this is a practical psychology for leaders who build. See you in the next video.